Hello, everybody. Yeah, this is kind of a tough time for everybody. Uh, First of all, congratulations, everybody, to all our HRs to helping their organization to go things very smooth. So we'll be starting in some 2-3 minutes. Fine. So we'll start the session. So this session, I hope everybody is aware why we're doing this. So this is for tracking policy. So today we're gonna look into the stuff like what is a tracking, why is it used in the system, how is it gonna use to your organization, and we're gonna suggest some best practices which has been followed universally, and then we have some recommendations from Keka as well, which we're gonna discuss today. So firstly, what is a tracking policy? So tracking policy is used to tracking policy is used to track your employee attendance. So you can track their attendance, you can track their late comings, you can track their uh, missing swipes. So it's actually provides guidelines to your employees about your policies, and it sets right expectations what management is expecting from an employee. So we'll just start off looking at how do we create or configure a tracking policy now. So you will find the tracking policy under attendance tracking, and tracking policy. So where you can create as many tracking policies as you want and assign to employees accordingly. So you will just click on add tracking policy, and you will give a tracking policy name. It can be a sales tracking policy, which can be assigned to only salespeople. And here you can give an effective from date. So let's say it is from 1st April. And here you have two options. One is tracking policy week starts from, tracking policy month starts from. So so I hope everybody can share, I mean, can see the screen now. So as I was telling, you can create tracking policy name here. Let's say it's a sales tracking policy. You can create this and you can assign to all your sales team. And then you have effective from date, from when this tracking policy gonna affect. And then you have two options, which is tracking policy start from, tracking policy month start from. So here you can give it Monday, and there are some ITES companies who go with Sunday. So it completely based on your organization, and suggested option would be from Monday. And then you have tracking policy month start from. So usually we suggest our customers to go with your pay frequency, your pay period. So let's say your pay period is from 26th to 25th of every month. So make this as 26th, so that your payroll and your attendance will be in sync. And then we'll save and continue. And as you can see, you have these four options, which is no attendance, late arrival, workers, and missing swipes. So you're gonna track your employees on these four things, and you can penalize or take action if they fail to do so. So do you want system to automatically deduct leave when there is no attendance? So let's say if when there is no attendance for an employee, when I say no attendance, employee did not turn out to office, and employee did not apply a leave, employee did not apply a work from home, it's just a blank for that day. So what system should do for that blank day? Whether you're gonna ignore it, if you want to click on no, if you want to take action on this no attendance, you can click on S. And here you have an option where you can deduct 1 day leave for every single day having no attendance. So you can select it 0.25 days or 0.5 days, which means if I don't have attendance today and I did not apply anything today, so it's gonna deduct me 0.25 days. And if it is if the same happens tomorrow also, it's gonna deduct 0.25 again. And then you have there's managing holidays and leave week offs when you have no attendance. So you would have seen the same similar screen in the leave settings as well, so where you can configure what should system consider when you have holiday or joining to a no attendance day. So you have options here, like if holiday is right between two no attendance days. So let's say yesterday I don't have any attendance, and tomorrow I don't have any attendance, and in between I have a holiday. So if you want system to consider 3 days penalization, you can select the first option. And the second option would be before a holiday, and third option would be after a holiday, and the four option would be combination of first, second, and third. If I have no attendance either before or after or in between, it gonna consider holiday and penalize both holiday and no attendance. So the same option we have it for week off as well. And here in the both the scenarios, you have same option called holidays accompanying days with no attendance logs is treated as leave when total number of days with no attendance exceeds certain days, which means, let's say I'm gonna give some 5 days here, which means until 5 days system will not consider my holidays into consideration, but if it is more than 5 days it will consider my holidays. So this will help us, let's say if an employee is on do not have any attendance for 5 days, so even if it is emergency or something, so employee will convey the messages to the reporting managers or HR managers. If it is not informing in 5 days, then you can start considering holidays and week offs as penalization. So this is about the no attendance, and you will have the same setting for all the penalizations here, where you can select whether all the penalties be treated as unpaid leave, or you're gonna deduct it from the paid leave balance. So if you select the first option, system will consider that as an unpaid leave and deduct unpaid leave. And if you select the second option, system will consider the first having balance leave type first. And also you will have an option to uh, give a order here. So you can select first paid leave, and then casual leave, and then sick leave. So if there is no attendance, I mean, if there is no leaves available here, so automatically this will go into unpaid leave. And you can change uh, preferences as well here by dragging it. So this is about no attendance. And then we have a late arrival. So here we have two options where you can configure the late arrivals based on a week and a month, or you can consider the late arrivals per day, per week, and per month. So if you look at the first option, so what is the grace period beyond which employee arrival is considered late arrival? So let's say you're gonna give a grace period of some 30 minutes here, which means if my shift time starts at 9:30, I am allowed to come until 10 o'clock. So if I am exceeding this half an hour, 30 minutes, what should system, I mean, how many, you can set how many times I can exceed, I'm allowed to come this 30 minutes. So let's say you give some 3 days here, 3 times in a week, which means I'm allowed to come 30 minutes late for 3 times in a week. If I'm exceeding this 3 times, system gonna penalize leaves. And how is it gonna penalize? You can select it here. So let's say 1 day of leave for every one time. So in this case, employee can come late for 30 minutes for 3 times. If he is coming fourth time, then system will penalize a leave. So it can be continuous, it can be random days. So let's say if I'm coming late on Monday, and I came on time on Tuesday, and then Wednesday I came late, and then Friday I came late. If I'm coming late on Saturday, system will consider 1 day leave as penalization. So this is about the month or week. You can select a weekly or you can select monthly here. So similarly, if you give 3 times in a month, employee is allowed to come 30 minutes late, and he can come 3 times late in a month. If it is fourth time, system will consider it as a penalization. So this is about weekly and monthly. If you want to penalize employees late arrival on a daily basis, we have an option here where you can give a flat deduction here. Let's say if an employee is late by 60 minutes, deduct 1 day. But you can set a number of rules here. Let's say you're gonna give If employee is late by 30 minutes, penalize 1.25 days. If employee is late by 60 minutes, penalize zero point 0.5 days. If employee is late by 3 hours, which is a maximum, penalize 1 day leave. This is on daily basis. This happens every day. If I'm late by 3 hours today, I'll be penalized 1 day. If I'm late by 60 minutes, yeah. Okay, so if I'm late by 3 hours today, it gonna penalize 1 day. If I'm late by half an hour tomorrow, it gonna penalize half a day tomorrow. So this is about daily thing. And then you have a rule here. What if employee, so you have an option here, do you ignore late arrival penalization if employee completes gross hours? And if employee is coming late by 3 hours, and if employee completes 100% of his effective or gross hours, then system will ignore the late arrival and system will not penalize anything for that particular day. Or if you want to penalize even though if he is completing his 100% hours, you can select the second option. And this can be effective hours and gross hours. So I hope everyone is aware that gross hours is including the break hours, effective hours is including the break hours. Sorry, effective hours does not include break hours. And as I told you, you will have similar option here, whether you're gonna penalize uh, uh, the penalties on unpaid leave or on paid leaves, the same as we saw for the no page. So so this is about later level. And then we have work hours here. Do you want to penalize for shortage of work hours? So if you do not want to, if you do not have any policy where employee has to reach some 40 hours a week or 9 hours a day, you can. Or if you do not have any policy as such, you can make it no. So let's say you want to penalize on work hours. So you can do it from here, where you can select the duration. Let's say it's for a week, so I'm just going with a scenario which is used by most of the companies. So most of the companies will have 40 hours per a week. So what if employee is not satisfying 95%? You can deduct, let's say, half a day. And then what if employee is not satisfying his 80% of work hours per week? You can deduct 1 day, like this. And this can be done per a month or per a day as well. So if it is for a day, it's the same. If employee is not satisfying his 9 hours, system will gonna penalize half a day. If he is not completing his 95%, system will penalize for 1 day. So this is about weak hours. And then we have rules here. What happens when there is a penalty to be applied for a late coming incident on the same day? So let's say employee came late and employee did not complete his effective hours. What should system do in this case? So ignore penalty for late coming and apply penalty for work hours, or the vice versa. So ignore penalty for effective hours uh, and apply penalty for late coming. And the third one would be combination of 1 and 2. Apply both effective hour shortage and late coming incident. Yeah. So if you want me to give an example here, so let's say I came at my shift timing is at 9:30 to 6:30. I came at 30, and I logged out at some 5:30. So I came late and I did not complete my 100% hours. So if you select this, system will consider whatever the rules we have set in the late arrival policy, and consider that and penalize from a late comment. And if you select this, system will consider the configuration we made in this step, which is workers. If you select this, system will consider both the late arrival policy and the workers policy and penalize leaves accordingly. And we have another option where you can guide system, configure system. I mean, consider effective hours of employee between shifts. Uh, Sorry, everybody. So the link got expired. So I guess you can hear me and see my screen. So hope we were at the late arrival. So I was explaining that you can have those late arrivals, late arrival policy, and you can penalize it based on your monthly and weekly. So if you select it on weekly and monthly basis, you're gonna give a grace time here. So let's say grace time is 30 minutes, and you can select how many times employee can come late, is allowed to come late. So let's say I'll make it as 3 times in a week. And if I'm exceeding this 3 times, what should system do? System should penalize 1 day for every one incident, which means I can come 30 minutes late, and I'm allowed to come 3 times late after 30 minutes. And if I'm coming on fourth time, system will deduct me 1 day leave. If I'm coming on late for fifth time, system will deduct me another leave. So this is one scenario where I came across another policy where companies will give 3 times. Companies will give 3 times, and for every 3 times, system will penalize 1 day. So the same scenario, employee can come 30 minutes late, and he can come 3 times late in a week. And after this 3 times, if an employee, let's say it's per a month, 3 times in a month, and if employee is coming for the fourth time, he'll not be penalized. If he is coming for the fifth time, he'll not be penalized. If he is coming for the sixth time, which is 3 times, system will penalize 1 day. Yeah. So this is based on week and month. If you want to penalize leaves per day, you can do that as well, where you can select per day basis, and you can have this setting. If employee is late by 0.25 hours, deduct 0.25 days. If employee is late by 0.5 hours, half an hour, deduct half a day. If employee is late by 3 hours, a maximum, deduct 1 day. And you can have as many rules as you want here. And then you have a setting where employee comes late and he completes his gross hours or effective hours. What should system do in this case? So you can select ignore late arrival penalization. Since he is completing 100% of hours, system will ignore the late penalization. Or if you select this option, system will still consider, even though employee completes his 100% hours, system will still consider and penalize for late arrival. For example, if my shift timing is 9:30 to 6:30, I came late by 1 hour, which is at 10:30, and I have left office somewhere around 10:30 or 11, where I have completed my shift hours even though I came late. If you select this option, system will not consider since I have completed my work hours. If you select this option, system will penalize still for the late arrival. And as I have explained in the previous screen, you have same option here where you can select how to penalize your leaves. Either you will go with unpaid leave, or you will go with a paid leave. So this is about the late arrival. And then you have work hours here. So every company will have their work hours policy. So some companies will have a daily policy where employee has to complete 9 hours a day, and most of the companies will have weekly policy where they have to complete at least 40 hours, which means 8 hours per day and 40 hours per week. So we'll go with the same option a weekly policy, which means I have to complete 40 hours a week. If I'm failing to complete this 100%, which is 40 hours, system will deduct half a day. If I am failing to complete 95%, system will deduct 1 day. And similarly, you can have as many rules as you want here as well. So this is about work hours, and you have an option here where if you're not gonna go with weekly policy and you're gonna go with a daily policy, you can flat deduct, let's say 1 day, deduct 1 day if the average effective hours is less than 100%. So employee has to be there for 9 hours. If he is failing to complete his 9 hours, system will deduct 1 day flat every day. So today, if he is failing to, if he has worked for some 95 hours, he'll 95%, he'll be penalized 1 day. And tomorrow, if he failed to complete 100 hours, 1 day again, and so on. So this is daily. And here we have an option where you can select consider effective hours of employees between shift start and end time only for purpose of tracking policy. So what happens here is, so if you select this option, system will consider your shift start time and end time. If my shift start time is my shift is 9:30 to 6:30, I come at 8:30 or 7:30 and start working, system will not consider that extra hours. System will still consider that from the 9:30, which is my shift start time. So this is about work hours. And then you have the same settings where you can define you're going to deduct it from the unpaid leaves or from the paid leaves. And then we have missing swipes here. So usually most of the people get confused with no attendance and missing swipes. So no attendance is something, as I told you, we do not have any logs, any leave applications, any work from home applications, nothing. And missing swipes is employee is present and he has missed some swipes. So let's say I came at 9:30 and while leaving the office, I missed my swipe, I missed my punch. So what should system, what should system, how should system act in this case? So you can select this option where system will treat it as a shortage of work hours and penalize according to rules set on the previous screen. So obviously when you have a missing swipe, system will not be able to define your gross hours or effective hours and your work hours will go down. So if you select this option, system will consider the work hours setting you did on the previous screen. And if you select this option, system will ignore the effective hours calculation. And do you want to deduct for missing swipe? Yes. And you have a setting where you can give 1 day of missing swipe allowed in a week, beyond which leave is deducted. So let's say I'll make this as 2, which means I can miss my swipes for 2 times 2 days in a week, post which I'll be penalized. And how do you want to penalize? You can select here. For every 1 day, deduct 1 day. Or it can be for every 3 days of missing swipe, you can deduct 1 day. Yeah. And you have another option here where you can deduct, let's say it's 1 day of leave if missing swipe exceeds a maximum. So this is the maximum here. So 2 days is the maximum. If it is more than 2 days, system will consider it as a leave and penalize it 1 day. And we have the same option where you have which you have seen in the previous screen, where system will ignore missing swipes rule if effective hours or gross hours of an employee is greater than, let's say, some 95%. So if employee has missing swipe and still he has successfully completed his 95% of his effective hours, which means system will not penalize anything here. And similarly, you will have the same option here as well. So since there was some technical glitch, so I'll just reiterate from the beginning the summarized thing. So we will name a tracking policy here, and we can have start from. So usually this will be from Monday, and for ITS companies which starts from Sunday, they'll have it as Sunday. And then you will have tracking policy month start from, which is always suggested to go with your pay frequency or your pay period. Let's say if your pay period is 26th to 25th of every month, you can go with 26th starting from 26th, so that your payroll and your attendance will be in sync. And then you have no attendance here, where employee does not have any attendance, any leaves, any work from homes applied, system will consider that as a no attendance. And you can configure what should system do in this case, where you can configure deduct to 0.25 days for every single day of no, I mean having no attendance. So it can be one, it can be two, it can be anything. And then we have you can set a rule where what if there is a holiday or a week off. This is a holiday rules and this is week off rules. What if a holiday or a week off adjoining to this no attendance, and you can select if it is right between two no attendance. So yesterday I do not have any attendance, tomorrow I do not have any attendance, and what if today is a holiday. So system will consider 3 days as penalization. And this is right before, this is right after, and this is combination of these three. So this option is even if it is right before, even if it is right after, and even if it is in between, system will consider that as a penalization. And here you can select how does your penalization work. So whether you're going to penalize it on unpaid leaves from the unpaid leave balance or from the paid leave balance. If it is paid leave, you can have an order here, you can have a preference by selecting it from the leave types. You will get to see all your leave types configured in your leave policy here. So this is about no attendance. And you can configure, you can penalize employees on the late arrival as well, where you have two options here. One is on weekly or monthly basis, or flat on day basis. So if you look into week or monthly, you're gonna give some grace time here. Let's say grace time is 30 minutes, and the number of times they are allowed to come late is 3 times in a month. And after this 3 times, if they are coming late for one time, they'll be penalized 1 day. And then you have an option. Let's say I came half an hour late and I'm completing my 100% of hours, which means if you select this option, ignore the late arrival penalization, I'll not be penalized anything. Or if you select no, even though I complete my working hours for that day, system will still consider that as a late arrival and penalize leave. And the same option you have it here, you can deduct it from unpaid leave or paid leave. And then you have work hours, where you can give you can consider this on gross hours or effective hours. So gross hours is nothing but which includes your break hours, effective hours is nothing but which excludes your break hours. And you can have it on daily, weekly, and monthly. Here I just explained you about weekly policy, where uh, if I'm not completing 100% of my week hours, I'll be deducting half a day. If I'm not completing 95% of my week hours, system will penalize 1 day. And then we have an option here where you can configure I mean, system not to consider the extra hours. If my shift hours is 9:30, if I come at 7:30, system will still consider that from the 9:30. And you have the same option whether to go with unpaid leave or paid leave. And then you have missing swipe here. So as I just explained, the difference between no attendance and missing swipe is no attendance, it's just a blank day. You will not have any attendance or any leave application or work from home applications for that particular day for an employee. Whereas missing swipes, you will have logs, and if there are some logs missing or swipes missing, that is called as a missing swipe. And in Keka, system will always expects even number to close the logs. If it is an odd number, which means employee has missed a punch. And you will have an option where, I mean, what do you want to do when effective hours for the day? I mean, of course, like if there is a missing swipe, your work hours will come down. So what should system do in this case? Like whether system gonna penalize you on your less work hours, or system gonna penalize it on your missing swipe? If you want to do it on missing swipe, how should system do this? So you can set rules. Let's say if I'm missing one day in a week, you can deduct. So this is maximum allowed. As we have given a number of times for a late arrival, we can give number of days for missing swipe. So let's say I'm allowed to miss my swipe for 2 days. System will not penalize anything. And if I'm doing it on the third time, system will consider me half. System will penalize 1 day. And irrespective to the number of days you want to penalize, you can. So you're still allowed to miss your swipe for 2 days. If it is on the third time, system will penalize 1 day. And the same setting we have here. What if employee completes his work hours? So let's say 100% or let's say 90%. So there is a missing swipe, and the employee still managed to complete his 90% of shift hours. If you feel that's fine, you can select this option where system will not consider that as a missing swipe and will not penalize for that particular day. And then you have the same option here, which is you want to go with unpaid leave or paid leave. So this is about our tracking policy, and you will get to see your summary of tracking policy here based on the configuration made. And you will get to see the employees added. So I can show it from here. You will get to see all these employees who has been assigned to the tracking policy. And if you have made any changes, you will get to see that in the versions. So this is the tracking policy. And as I have mentioned, we gonna give you some best practices where you can follow this. So first thing would be you can create multiple tracking policies, and you can assign this to multiple people or multiple departments, and so that your vigilance or your tracking of employees would be more keen. So this is about creating multiple tracking policies. And the next best practice would be we do not suggest our customers to make changes to the tracking policy in the middle of the month or middle of the week, so that the tracking policy will get disturbed, and system will get stuck and penalizations will not happen. So it's always recommendable to change the tracking policies from the next month or the next week after completing certain period. And then as I told you, it is always suggested to go with your payroll period days here. payroll period frequency here, so that both your payroll and your attendance will be in sync. And it is always suggested to go with paid leaves first in case of penalization. I would say tracking policy is like very sensitive thing, where your employee, where you have a danger of demotivating your employees based on this tracking policy. So not to have that things, so you can always have this penalizing based on paid leaves. And even if you do not have any tracking policy, it is always suggested to have a tracking policy for your no attendance, because no attendance is completely related to your payroll. If you do not have any attendance for that day, system, if you do not have any leave application or anything, you will not know what's happening, and you will not know why employees on leave, and system will not consider that. So it's always suggested to have your tracking policy at least for the no attendance. And it is always suggested to give some buffer time of 2 days, and it can be more than 2 days also, so that your employees will get a chance to adjust the logs or apply a leave, so that your penalizations, there'll not be any penalization. So this would be some best practices. So now we're gonna see a recommended tracking policy from KECA, which is employee favor tracking policy, so that you will have good terms with your employee. So we would always suggest our customers when they ask us, when you people ask us for uh, help in the tracking policy, we always suggest these options, where we would suggest you to go with from Monday and from your payroll period, and we would always recommend you to deduct late arrival, not to to have that control on your late arrivals from your employees. And we would not suggest this sandwiching of holidays or week offs. And always it is suggested to go with paid leaves, as I just said. uh, So this is in case of no attendance, and in case of late arrival, it is always suggested to give them a 30 minutes grace time, and they can come some 3 times late for a month. We would always suggest it for a month. They can come 3 times late in a month. If they are coming 3 times, you can start penalizing them for every one time. And yes, we would suggest this option, where ignore late arrivals if employee is completing his 100% of gross hours, so that employee there'll be many problems. No employee wants to come late to office, so there'll be some problem. And if they could manage it by completing their 100% hours by managing their work, we suggest you to go with this option, where they'll not have any penalization. And then we have work hours. We would suggest you to have penalization on work hours as well, and this would be on gross hours, and you can have it weekly, and you can deduct some half day if employee is not completing 95 days. 95%. And you can have it one day if employee is not completing, let's say some 80%. Yeah, and we would not suggest you to go with this option because, as I told you, if you select this, system will not consider even if I'm coming early or even if I'm coming late. And then we would suggest you to have missing swipes as one day. So they're not allowed to have a missing swipe, and if they are having any missing swipe for every one day, you can deduct one day. Because as I told you, missing swipes will reduce the workers and everything. And when you pull out a report or something, that would cause a problem for you in your audits and something else. So it's always suggested to have missing swipes a bit, uh, bit tough for employees so that everybody will follow the policy. And yes, we would suggest you to go with this option where employee is completing his 95%, system will not penalize it. So um, that's from my end. So we can have any questions. So I can help you with all your questions if you have any. Or you can write us back at cs@kk.com, where we would help you with all your queries. Hi Upkar. So what will happen in case of mispunch in morning? So I mean, system will still consider that as a missing swipe, and if you have the policy as per the missing swipe, system will consider that. Do we have any desk on this presentation? Sorry, Srinivas, we do not have any desk on this. If you want, I can share you the recording or something if you miss somewhere. Hi, Akriti. So Akriti is asking, we have faced an issue if an employee take a leave in the first half and marks work from home the second half, then it gets a full day of leave deduction. We'll check this, Akriti. So I need the employee and everything, employee details. So we'll definitely help you on this. Hi, Ekta. So Ekta is asking, this is regarding late tracking policy. If I have given a grace period of 15 minutes for 3 times, what happens if an employee comes late by 25 minutes in the first instance only? Is it still considered as a late login? Okay. So uh, you can allow employee 15 minutes for 3 times. If he is coming beyond 15 minutes, system will consider that as a penalization. So if employee is coming on the first day for 16 minutes, which is just one minute beyond your grace time, system will still penalize it. Yeah, Kriti, maybe this is because of the effective hours. We'll check this, Akriti will definitely help you on this. Hi Anuja. So Anuja is asking if employee regularize the missing swipe, will the attendance tracking system take into consideration? So I have explained this in the capture scheme as well. So regularizing will not reflect anything in your reports. So regularizing is, it's just an escape from the penalization. So because we are just clicking on regularize option, which is nothing but escape employee from or save employee from the penalization, and we are, since we are not giving any timings or anything over there, any logs over there, system will not reflect anything in the reports, that will still be blank. Hi Lata, will definitely share you the recording once the session is done. Hi Upkar, would system mark late if morning punch is missed and punch is made in the evening? Yes, we should check your attendance devices, Upkar, because we have two options here. So we'll definitely connect and explain you on this. So if you have cumulative punches, so system will consider your first punch as in, second punch as out, third punch as in, fourth punch as out. So since employee gonna miss his morning punch, if he is punching in the evening while going out, system will consider that as a in punch at some 6:30 or 7 in the evening. Hi Alam, yes, we can create tracking policy for department. I mean department wise, you can create tracking policy. You can assign a department of employees to a tracking policy. Hi Abjit. If anyone misses logout punch in the evening, what will happen on next day? So we have by default given 2 days buffer to all the employees. So in this case, system will not penalize for 2 days, even if it is missing swipe for the third day. And if you have penalization in place for missing swipe, system will penalize. Hi Afshia, will definitely share you the recording. Ekta, I missed it. Right from the first instance. Yes. So it's gonna penalize from the first instance. So if in your case 15 minutes is your grace period, and if employee comes late of not 25 minutes first day, will penalize. Second day if he is coming 30 minutes, system will penalize. Third day if he is coming 40 minutes, system will still penalize, since he is going beyond his grace time. Thank you Ekta, thank you Vijay. uh, we will share you a link, Ekta, you can have access to that. If anyone Abhijit, if anyone works beyond office time, how Keka will calculate the effective hours? So effective hours, as I said, effective hours is excluding the break hours. So apart from these break hours, if employee works for some 15 hours or 16 hours or some 10 hours, system will still consider that as effective hours and show you in the attendance. Thank you, Lata. Thank you, Srikant. Hello, Sanjay. Hi, Anuja. Also, are the leave policy rules linked with the attendance tracking policy? Leave rules in the sense, if you're talking about the leave policy, there's nothing interlinked between leave policy and attendance policy. Both are different. The only interlink is you will get all the leave types created in the leave policy. Sure, Sanjay. We will send you the tracking policy document. Hi Shadab, can we have an option of override option of things for global admin? It should not go to the manager for approval if applied for by global admin for any employee apart from his or her. Uh, yes, we can do that, but we have designed a functionality where we could not miss, where we cannot miss the things. So let's say not to misuse the system. So even and to notify the employee, even global admin is making changes that will trigger a notification to the reporting manager. Hi Sandeep, can we block below option in regularization company level, raise regularization request, exempt this day from tracking policy penalization? Uh, Exempt this day for which thing? I mean, you can do this for later. I mean, you can regularize it for everything. And we have gave you the documents related to time attend in this handouts, so you can download this if you are you know if you need of some documents. uh, yeah, will definitely help you with all your queries. It would be really helpful if you could write us a mail, because there'll be difference between suggesting a solution and or taking your screen on TeamViewer and helping you to go through the options. So we'll definitely request you to write us back at cs@keka.com, so that we'll be addressing each and every query of yours and will help you to set up a right tracking policy. I guess this gonna end in some 2-3 minutes, so I can address. Yeah, thank you, Karuna, Sanjay, Abhijit, Shadab. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sajita. Thank you so much, everybody. I know how that works for all the HRs. So you made it, even at this busy schedule. And just to inform, we're gonna come up with many webinars as such, and we're gonna help all our customers manage things easily. Uh, we're gonna come up with our next webinar on new tax regime and the old tax regime, and we have our webinars on topics like employee letters, leaves, and everything. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Please write us back if you have any queries, or you can get in touch with your point of contacts. We'll definitely help you on this. Abjit, please write us back at cs@kk.com. We'll definitely help you with all your queries. Thank you, guys. Hope you will be you'll be staying safe at your homes. Thank you so much.